Hey everybody, welcome on back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on with me today. My name is Sierra and it is nice to meet you. So today I will be doing a ultimate dupe test to see if the very acclaimed, very well talked about palette, the Wet n Wild Roses in the Air palette, is a dupe for the one and only Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia. You know, this is a fan favorite. Everyone loves this palette. So this is the look that I came up with for you guys. Honestly, can you tell which one's which? Like, you can do the whole thing if you want. Stop the video and comment to see if you can tell which one is which. But I think I did a pretty good job in hiding it. I think I got pretty close for you guys. As you may or may not know, I mentioned this when I started my Jaclyn Hill tutorial series. Every time there's a good palette on my channel, I will always do more than one tutorial. And as this channel grows, as I do more videos, there will be sections and little playlists for every single palette that I've ever featured on my channel. Also, I've made some lighting changes. Do you like this new lighting? Can you even tell? If you can't tell, it's fine. I'm gonna stop blabbering along. Thank you guys so much again for clicking on. If you'd like to see if the new Wet n Wild Roses in the Air palette is a dupe, then just keep watching, but subscribe. Alright, so I have two palettes here, obviously. We have the Roses in the Air palette from Wet n Wild, and then we have the Modern Renaissance palette. How this video is going to go is I'm just gonna have to point everything out to you because I think it would be super duper confusing to go by like the numbers that are on the back of this. I'm gonna actually start off with Anastasia. So I'm gonna start off with the shade right here, Buon Fresco. I don't know, I think I'm butchering that. And I'm gonna start by working that just into our crease pretty sloppily. I know straight off the bat with the Anastasia shadows, you really have to start light because they're just so pigmented. I'm not sure if you can hear this, but that's my cat if you hear meowing. I'm not sure if the music's gonna cover it up. But yeah, because even me like tapping in, dipping, tapping in twice, like you can really see the pigmentation. I'm using the same brush, but I am wiping it as I go. The shade that matches that one the best is gonna be this shade right here. So it is the bottom row and it is the pinky taupey shade. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna still tap off. Wow, okay, so yeah, it's not as pigmented as I thought, but let's see if we can build it, because that's my key thing. If I can build it to this side right here, then like, we're golden, baby. It's pretty close. This one is just a smidge more neutral undertone, and this one's a smidge warmer. So that's good. I'm actually gonna zoom you guys a little bit closer so that you guys can see a little bit more detail. Next, I'm gonna go in with red ochre right here, and I'm gonna start to work that in to the crease a bit more.
That's good.
And I'm in the mood to do a cut crease. So I'm gonna kind of blend it a little bit sloppily, because then we're just gonna carve it out anyway. And then I'm gonna just go back in to Buon Fresco, the very first shade that we used, just to like not lose that color because I really like it. And that one we're gonna blend just a bit higher. Next, I'm going to go in with, next to this purpley shade, we're gonna go into this shade right here. It's interesting how it translates on camera because it looks very, not very different, it just looks different. So I'm putting that, and then I am putting in my crease. Pretty good. Let me see how this is looking on camera. Okay, yeah, this is looking very much the same on camera. It's funny because my mom, she actually swatched these for me because I told her, I was like, wow, I found a dupe, this is really awesome. And she was like, oh my goodness, wow. And they just didn't swatch the same. Like, they just didn't. I was kind of like when she swatched them, because it looked like when she swatched them that like it was just the formula of the shadow was going to be really bad. So I'm happy to say that it's not. And actually this shade is a lot redder. So I'm gonna use the same trick, wipe this brush, and go back in with the first shade. All right, yeah, so I'm gonna go back in with more red ochre because this shade honestly isn't the best dupe for red ochre. No big deal. And as you can see, we're starting to look more the same. Don't worry about the edges, I'll go ahead and clean that out. I think that I could literally go down in history saying that my cut creases are the messiest of all time. And don't worry, I am cleaning off my brush as I do this really well, so I'm not cross-contaminating. Okay, lovely. So this is looking pretty much the same. I would say just smidge differences. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my crease. Alright guys, so I kind of slightly changed my mind on the cut crease. So I cut the crease, but I ended up just softening it a bit because I wanted the line to not be as harsh. But yeah, I'm gonna continue working on it because I don't know, I always wing my tutorials. So like when I say, yeah, I'm gonna go do something, I get another inspiration. I'm gonna take the shade yeah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put that a little bit along like where I cut it originally, but just lightly so that we can still have kind of a cut crease effect. It's just a bit softer. Then I'm gonna go into the shade right here on the corner next to this taupe shade. And these are so chalky, but look how much came up on my brush. Like, you probably can't see that, but it's a lot, so hopefully it's not too much. I'm scared, y'all. Okay, yeah. That's good. This one is very similar to Realgar. Guys, it's like really crazy how similar these two are. It almost scares me because this palette is $42. That's insane. I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Primavera all over the lid, and I already know that this is insane. Like, it's very, very pigmented, and that will be the real test. So I'm just gonna put it on the lid and then wing it out slightly. And I'm gonna, again, wipe my brush, and then I'm going into that Realgar palette, and then shade, and then I'm just going over it like so. Lovely. Now I'm gonna go into the Roses in the Air palette, and I'm gonna take this shade right here. I feel like I'm gonna have to help the shade a bit, but we'll see. Yeah, this one is a little bit more noticeably different. This one has a little bit more warm undertones, and then you can see this side. Honestly, like it better for this look, this Wet n Wild shade, because it matches the like sunset warm tones that we have going on already. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Okay, yeah. So this one is just a little bit more warm. I think this palette overall is, dare I say, more warm than the Anastasia palette. I'm gonna dip into burnt orange a little bit, and I'm just gonna like pat it on, and I'm like barely tapping my brush into burnt orange. I don't know if I showed it, but this shade right here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gave myself a lip, like a cool little lip thing. So then I'm just gonna kind of repeat going back and forth just to add like that warmth that this shade has. And I think it's working. I don't know. It looks more warm, and that's what we needed. So, okay, well, I just discovered how to make these two mix and match. It's not perfect, but that's life. So I'm gonna go back into the Modern Renaissance palette, and I'm gonna go ahead and take Cypress Umber, and I'm just gonna deepen the crease a bit. Then I'm gonna go in to this shade next to the transition one right there. And I'm gonna take that and do the same. Oh my gosh, that's insane how this is looking. It is so similar. I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera. I'm gonna clean up the edges a bit and I'm gonna do some eyeliner, and then I'll be back to do the bottom lash line and to give you my final thoughts. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I finished up the lid. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the bottom lash line. I'm gonna take a definer brush and I'm gonna take the shade Love Letter and I'm gonna go ahead and press that into the lower lash line just for some color. You ever get so in the zone that you forget to show things? But yeah, I started already with this, and yeah. So to deepen things up a bit and to smoke it out, I'm gonna go into Warm Taupe and I'm gonna smoke it out. The dupe for that in the Roses in the Air palette is gonna be labeled Transition, and it's gonna be like the taupier one. Okay guys, and this is the final look. So for my final thoughts, and let's just get down to it, is this a dupe or not? Well, look at my eyes guys. This is really close. It's almost like scary close. And the quality is very good. There are some differences, like the main difference that I kept restating is that the Wet n Wild Roses in the Air palette is way more warm in quality than the Modern Renaissance palette is. You can just see based on my eye, like when you looked at the close-up and when I was messing around with the makeup, and even now, like I think it's translating a little bit different on camera, but in person it looks way warmer, but it is very, very similar. And honestly, if you wanted more warmth out of the Modern Renaissance, this one actually is really, really good. This one is only, I paid $4.95, so a little bit more than $5 after tax, which is really unbeatable. You get 8 small squares and 2 big pans of color. Very, very awesome. There's not a dupe for every single shade, so I can't go ahead and dupe every single shade out for you and swatch it because it's just not here. I think the quality of this palette was absolutely fantastic. I love the range that it gave, because although it doesn't have as many shades as the Modern Renaissance does, you still get, you know, everything. You have a couple of different transition options, you have your brighter shades, you have 2 shimmers, and you have like a matte white as well, which I don't really use matte white as much as I used to now that I don't set my concealer down, but there's still a lot of different, oh, that's actually a good swatch. There's still a lot of different good uses for it. The Modern Renaissance is the ABH staple of eyeshadow palettes. Like, you know, like of ABH's great quality because of the Modern Renaissance palette. So we know the quality is good. What I will say that is very similar is that you still only get like 2 like really pop-in shades. It has 14 different shades opposed to the Roses in the Air palette. And what you're getting with those extra shades is basically you're kind of getting a piggyback off of what is already there. I would say that a lot of the shades are more repetitive than the Roses in the Air. But what I will say, as someone that enjoys doing makeup and has been doing it for a long time, having multiple shades that are very similar is kind of important to a palette, because you can really layer and add definition to your looks, and it is very important to be able to do that when you want to achieve a good blend. So you have the opportunity to do more really nice blended out looks because you have more similar of the same shade. You just have more. So that is basically the only con that I really have with the Roses in the Air, and the shadows are very chalky, and I did have to dip just a little bit more, but nothing really noticeable. Like, the pigmentation was comparable to actually Anastasia's. So I thought that this palette was awesome, and if you're gonna ask me if this is a dupe, you are so right. This is definitely a dupe. This is not a full out dupe. You can't dupe every single shade out of this palette. but you can dupe a good majority, and I could probably at least dupe out 5 more looks, maybe more. I think that it's awesome. I had a lot of fun like coming up with this, and I really want to, you know, discover a little bit more dupes. Thank you guys so much for clicking on and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you guys. Let me know if you'd like to see me do a little bit more dupe tests. This one was dupe approved, but let's go see about some other products. Maybe we can hash it out in the comments below. Make sure you give a thumbs up for more Is It a Dupe videos, and please, please, please subscribe. Thanks again, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
Before you came round, my heart would never beat much faster. Before you came round, I was ready to start.